Joining us today on Morning Blend is Jamie White, attorney in Okemos. Welcome, Jamie. Now, Jamie, you're an attorney who represents survivors of Larry Nassar, the abusive USA gymnastics team doctor, survivors of sexual predator Dr. Robert Anderson, now deceased doctor for the U of M football program for several decades, 1970s through the 90s. You also represent survivors of sexual assault of predators within the Boy Scouts organization. Tell us about some new approaches that universities in particular are taking to address sexual assault and sexual harassment on campus.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, Deb. It's good to see you again. So most recently, Michigan State University has been extremely innovative. They introduced a plan, a strategic long-term plan to address this issue going forward. I would even go so far to say that, in my opinion, they are probably ahead of the game, across the nation as far as the efforts they've made. It's a 72-page plan. It involves dumping enormous resources into this issue, everything from prevention to addressing individuals who have been traumatized, and most importantly, education, for the student body and faculty, so that issues don't arise. So Michigan State gets a great big thumbs up, in my opinion, for the efforts they've made over the course of the last couple of years. This came about, unfortunately, from the Larry Nassar situation, but if there's been anything good to come out of that, it has been the attention that Michigan State has given to this issue.
And you feel that other universities are kind of getting on board and being more proactive to try to prevent and also to support those who have been survivors of such attacks?
I do feel that other universities and organizations are getting on board. One consequence, one effort involved in civil litigation is not only to get monetary benefits for the victims, but it's also to create a deterrence effect for other organizations. When they see Michigan State going through what they went through, does the University of Wisconsin take things into their own hands and create their own safety measures? And we think that we've seen that all over the country. It's been extraordinary.
Real quickly, as a society, how do we address these issues outside of that university setting?
We have to get to the young kids, Deb. We have to talk to the young men and women in high schools and have that tough conversation. You and I grew up together in that era when, some of the things we saw were acceptable and they ended up not being. The most common thing I see right now are kids getting in really serious trouble for sharing pictures of each other. We didn't have cell phones, right? We certainly didn't have cell phones with cameras, and education to young people will go a long way. It's my intention to approach the East Lansing School District and ask them to be an incubator for a program involving young people here in the relatively near future.
Jamie White, White Law in Okemos. Thank you.